Hi everybody, we're back.
It's been 3 months.
It's been a long time, we're a little bit delinquent. Last time we checked in, we were in Guatemala doing Spanish school, and a lot has happened since then. We're actually in Nicaragua now, but this video is going to be about our time up through El Salvador.
I feel like I've forgotten how to do this.
So, yeah, when we left off, we were at the Spanish school in San Pedro on Lake Atitlan, and we went to celebrate our anniversary. We went to a hotel called La Fortuna.
Super beautiful, only like 4 cabañas or so, and up on this mountain, and lots of trees, and swimming, and
only accessible by boat, so it's a nice way to relax after a few hard weeks of work. But then basically right after that we went home for 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks to spend some time with family and to celebrate Seb and Diane's wedding.
Congrats.
Congratulations, it was an amazing weekend.
And Mary Chandler. Congrats, Mary Chandler.
One thing that we did do at home though was restock, so we got a bunch of stuff that we've been wanting for a while, so including a solar panel, which has been very useful, a new way to charge our auxiliary battery, also useful. And then our first stop back in Central America was in Guatemala City at ARB.
So we had an awning waiting for us.
Yes, a nice awning to attach to our roof rack, and we got it installed there.
Anyways, we ended up staying a couple nights at the mechanic shop, at the ARB shop, because there wasn't really a hotel in the area, and the owner was really friendly and let us sort of post up for a couple nights. So we made dinner in his office, and
very convenient.
Yeah, very convenient.
And that awning has come in very handy.
The day we crossed into El Salvador, we were using it.
Oh yeah, pouring rain.
Yeah.
Bugs everywhere. So
then we crossed.
Yeah, we crossed from Guatemala into El Salvador and met up with our friends Taisa and Resto.
What up?
Hey. And Matt and B.
What
hey.
Up?
So actually our first night crossing into El Salvador with Ernesto and Taisa and Matt and Bia was spent at a Love Hotel, because we got into El Salvador.
It's called an auto hotel.
But basically a Love Hotel. They're like dispensers for wipes, like right near the beds and stuff. It's kind of disgusting.
Like people rent the rooms hourly kind of thing.
Yeah, but that was just basically because we got there late. But then the next day we went up to Parque Nacional
El Imposible,
which was really an incredible first stop. We went on some awesome hikes. The views were spectacular, and I actually got to fly my drone for the first time in
oh, that was another
Central
thing
America.
he came back
Oh
with.
yeah. The secret is out. I bought a drone when we were at home, which has been very fun.
But the weather was quite rainy when we were there.
Yeah.
Matt and Bia ended up actually getting stuck, and so we pulled him out with our tow rope. Thanks, Dad. Yeah. And then.
But Imposible was awesome.
Yeah.
And from there we actually headed to the coast of El Salvador, which was
so
insanely hot.
And so many bugs.
So many.
We're
bugs.
just not like beach people.
Yeah, but it was pretty fun to be at the coast for a few days. We stayed a couple days at Los Cobanos. Not much there, but it was a stepping stone to get to Playa El Tunco, which is sort of a popular surf spot on the Pacific coast of El Salvador. So that was pretty awesome.
We didn't even go in the water. We literally walked out in our like bug shirts. We were like, oh cool.
Yeah.
And turned around.
But that was fun because I got to fly the drone and get some cool shots of the surfers. Ernesto and I did some video and photo stuff for a little hotel and got discounts on our stay, so that was fun.
And Thais and I got to reap the benefits of that. And then we went to a crater lake called Laguna de Alegria, and it was cool. It was uneventful, but the camping was really
a big old volcano with a big lake inside that's like super mineral rich, so it's got a cool color to it.
And there's an old wives' tale about the lake itself that I don't know, has some sort of energies, but 3 people drowned there, and they think that it was because the lake sort of sucked them down into the clay. I guess it has a clay bottom, I think.
Yeah. So that was uneventful except for one very eventful moment, which was horrible. And that's when I actually was trying to get some drone shots of the crater and sort of lost my sense of direction with where I was flying and ran it full speed into a tree. And I was very, very upset for a little bit.
Very upset.
With myself. And it was unscathed, which was incredible. I couldn't believe that the thing survived. And so now, ever since then, I've been flying much, much more cautiously. So maybe it was a lesson worth learning.
And then from there, with Thais and Ernesto, we went to a town called Suchitoto, which was sort of like a stronghold during the war in El Salvador. Yeah, and Ernesto ended up getting to know the owner of where we were staying and sort of hearing his story and his experience with the guerrillas, and it was a really heavy war, it sounds like. Sounded like.
I'm being asked to drink the blood of Christ, and soon I'll eat his flesh.
And actually, I think maybe that same guy sort of recommended that we go to this place called Sinquera, which was just a little bit of ways from where we were staying in Suchitoto, and we got to sort of get a tour of the town that has a rich sort of history in the sort of guerrilla war. It was a guerrilla stronghold. We went on a hike into the mountains where the guerrillas used to hide out, and they had all of their sort of forts there, and so that was an interesting cultural experience. But our next main stop after Suchitoto was basically an area known as Parque Nacional Los Volcanes, which is a place with 3 or 4 different volcanoes, all sort of right next to each other. So that was really cool. There's a huge lake in the top of the volcano called Santa Ana, which is actually boiling. The water's boiling, and we got to hike up there, and it was really magnificent. And then
from there we got on the Ruta de las Flores, which didn't have nearly as many flowers as we were expecting, but we ended up going to a town called Waiua. And where did we stay in Waiua?
We stayed in a parking lot one night, and then we decided to get some hotel time, so we got some hotel time.
Oh yeah, that place was really sweet.
Yeah, it was a much needed rest after quite a bit of
Thanks Ernesto for encouraging us to get the private room.
Oh yeah, that was well worth it. Then from there we were sort of going to head sort of north towards Honduras, and our first sort of stopover on that sort of route was a place called Salto Malacatuiupan.
Should have practiced that
I
one.
should have practiced, but it was actually really quite cool. The accommodations were about as bare bones as you can get. We were camping basically in someone's like goat pasture. Very sweet family. The guy was, just incredibly nice. His property borders this thermal waterfall, which is the second or third one we've seen on this trip,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome. Huge amount of hot water coming down this river. But then kept heading north and made it to Lago de Guija, Guatemala.
Stanky. Austin even showered and he
I
still
just showered.
smells.
Anyway, so we went to Lago de Guija, and which is right near the border with Guatemala, and actually part of the lake shore is in Guatemala. And so that was a pretty place to camp. It was sort of like wild camping, which was fun. Got to camp on a peninsula. Took a little boat tour with a stranger that offered us a boat tour, which was really nice.
Pretty intense rainstorm that night.
Oh yeah, it was so intense. Really.
And the
really
sunset
heavy
with the drone. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a really pretty place.
And then we went to a place called Parque Nacional Monte Cristo, which the way Lonely Planet writes about it is like one of the most pristine cloud forests, I guess, in Central America, and one of the biggest too. I think it's like one of the biggest in Central America. But you have to go through all these hoops to get in. You have to send them an email and call them and
Thanks
fill out.
to Ernesto for going through all of that hard work.
Yeah. Speaking in Spanish with the lady on the phone, and then printing out the permit to get in, and then anyway, so we ended up getting there, and the permit only said it was for that one day, and so we weren't actually. They were trying to say we couldn't camp there, so there was just a lot of work to get into this park, which made us, of course, want to get in even more. And once we got in, it was beautiful.
Spectacular.
There was no one else there. We had essentially like a giant forest around us with a bathroom still and running water,
like,
but
pine trees everywhere.
oh, it was so beautiful. So it was pristine, and they were still working on building some of the trails. And so one of the guys that day took us on a little short couple-hour hike or something into the forest. We saw puma tracks or some sort of big animal.
Yeah. Lots of orchids. They even have a whole like botanical garden, which is really, really beautiful.
They're like famous for their that peak, which you actually can't hike to during this season because they close it so that the animals can, I don't know,
be happy.
left alone. But that peak is, I guess, famous for all of the different types of orchids. But anyway, so then we organized another hike for the next day, which was also beautiful. Right? Where did we go that day?
Just like on a longer hike,
Okay.
and then we had lunch, and then got back to our cars.
And there was some
disaster ensued.
This has happened a couple of times before on this trip where your payment for camping is for the day, not necessarily for
Like 24
not
hours.
overnight. And so the understanding when we got there was that we were paying overnight, just like you would at a hotel. But then the second day they came back and asked us for a third payment, essentially. And
long story short, we eventually said that we would pay, but by the time we agreed to paying the extra night, they basically told us that we weren't welcome anymore. So they kicked us out, which was really
Each day I'm spending with you now. All my time spending with you now.
so we drove back down the hill and ended up staying at a cheap little hotel in whatever, I don't
Metapan.
Metapan something. Ate pizza at a fast food restaurant for the first time on the trip. It was delicious. And then from there, Ashwin and I decided to cross into Honduras, and Ernesto and Teresa wanted to stay and do some more exploring. And then we stayed, our last night was at a place right near the border called Entre Pinos. Really nice place to prep before our border crossing into Honduras. So, that video to come soon.
Yep. Honduras is up next, but we hope you enjoyed reliving our time in El Salvador.
Miss you guys. All right.
Bye.